Okay, we're live. Hey guys. Hey,
Hey
what's up?
guys.
What's up? Michael is here. Iskander is here. So we're all set. Can you guys just say something, hey, or just send us plus if you can hear us
Yeah.
well, if
Can
you
you
can
hear us
see us?
well, guys?
Oh, nice. Dennis can hear us perfectly well. Anyone else? I see 17 people here joined us. Cool. Hey, sounds good. All right, awesome. 3 people. Just anything random, guys. Yeah, any set of words, so that we know that you react and respond. So, hello. Okay, so Nabin, you said hey before. This is hello, so that doesn't count. Jim, what's up? All right, we're almost there. Okay, we sound good. Cool. You guys are all ready? What's up, Yanif? Hi, Nidhi. All right. So yeah, people keep joining us, and I think we'll still have late conversions, right? So we're gonna talk about that, by the way, later on. So I guess we're ready to start. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think so as well.
All right, cool. So hey guys, hey everyone. Really appreciate you joining this webinar. So this is one of the many of the series of webinars where we talk about Facebook ads optimization, how to boost your ad performance, because we do really think that this is one of the one of the biggest issues right now in the whole ad space, because Facebook is growing like crazy. Everyone is trying to advertise on Facebook. They have real challenges for bids, for better placement, for high conversions. So you'd be surprised how what's the variety of businesses that are now involved into Facebook advertising, because everyone's there. So we're trying to educate, to share some of the cases that we know of, to learn some of the things that you can share with us, so that we can teach other people. So to sort of grow this community of advanced and experienced people. Yes, and just going to
we're recording
the
this
question.
session.
Yes, it's all being recorded. So guys, don't worry if some of your colleagues miss it. We'll just send out the link afterwards. So that's why I was just saying how important this is to start. And I know that many of you, some of you are really experienced and run high monthly budgets on Facebook. Some of you are just starting out, and I think that will be really important for both of those groups of people. So for you who are experienced, you can maybe revise some of the things, or have a different perspective. And for those of you who learn, you'll see the real value of how to structure your ads and why do you actually need automation. So and today here with me is Michael. Michael is our CEO and co-founder of Reveal. I'm a scanner.
Hello.
Hey, Mike. I'm a scanner. I'm a communications officer and also a co-founder at Reveal. You'll see my face a lot in those intercom bubbles, as well as Michael's, by the way. So when you see that face, just feel free to reach out, ask your questions. If you have any issues whatsoever, just do that. We'll be glad to hear your feedback or just answer your questions. And well,
yeah, guys, and if you're an expert on how to automate your Facebook ads, you can be our expert in our next webinar session. So feel free to join next time to us and be our guest.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So we have 28 people join us so far, which is great. So
29.
What? Yeah, 29 is registered, right? And 28 is live.
All
Not
right.
sure. Not sure what that exactly means, but so one person is somewhere hanging in the green room so far, I guess. Well, we'll see. So, Mike, can I ask you to share the presentation so that we can go through the slides?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. So while Mike does it, I know that lots of you people are joined from AppSumo. So you guys are trying the app now, so you're pretty new and fresh. So we'll make sure to go through all of those things. And
can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see. So hopefully everyone can see the screen. If you don't, please just make sure to write about it. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, thanks, Dennis. So yeah, let's start. So today's topic, and as usual, is just like the automation basics. We're gonna show you how to approach your ad management, how to and what to actually automate, what are the things to look for, how to do that with Reveal, and also we're going to share the real case example of one of our customers who was so great to share some of his processes. So we're going to try edge some of that with you today. So, and also we're going to start with just a simple snippet of the history and why we're doing this, because again, as I mentioned on AppSumo, we had this question people are asking, like, guys, what is your background? And that is totally fair. So that's why it's a great platform for us to share. So we started around a year ago with this current project just as a simple Facebook ads chatbot. So we send the data to the most important Facebook ads data to Slack. Then we just we were part of a New York-based accelerator. We were looking for different and testing different hypotheses. Then we've had great clients who are still with us, and we were working with them on fine-tuning the app and finding the right way to go. So right now we've ended up with one of the most advanced automation systems on the market. We've been featured in, well, from Product Hunt to Buffer's blog posts to some of the big industry media. So right now we can challenge some of the rest of our competition in terms of automation, and we keep growing. So, and again, our goal is to make the most advanced automation system to have it, but yet very simple. So those of you who've tried it already, you probably know how this thing works, and that it's pretty intuitive. If it doesn't look like that to you, just shoot us an email. We're also fine-tuning UX as well.
Yeah, and we're going to automate not only rules and management, we're going to automate other tasks during Facebook ads advertising. But right now we're focused on the automation rules.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So yeah, and Rob asked, any plans to automate scaling? What do you mean by scaling? Probably budgets, but you know what?
Yeah.
So, Mike.
Yeah, we have lots of plans about budget allocation and some other scaling features.
Yeah, and duplicating winning access, definitely, yes. We there's the whole backlog of those ideas. Also, and including AutoBid and budget increasing, which is actually available now, and we're gonna show it later on. Also, guys, I would suggest if you have questions that are about like the general concept that are interesting for other people to learn about, you see the button below, ask a question. if you click it, then it's going to create a queue of questions. And the cool thing about this software is that once I start to answer this question, it will put the time tag on that question. So anyone who's watching the video later on, they will be able to get directly to that question because it has that timestamp. So please use that as well. And plus that just gives a nice queue of questions so that we can get in the Q&A session in the end. Cool? All right. So Nidhi, yeah, I'll just answer since you've asked your question before. Yes, if you have manual bid on Facebook, you can also manage and play with it through Reveal. Cool. All right. So yeah, I think it's enough about the story, Mike. Right. So we'll just the last thing we'll share. So Mike and another Mike, which who's our CDO, we're like the high school friends. So this is not our first company together, but we have different background of working in analytics, marketing. So we've went through all of this stuff ourselves, suffered a lot. So hence it came up with a tool that we actually see ourselves as a useful thing to automate and manage your ads. All right. So let's get straight to the action then. All right. So what's the next step? All right. Sorry. The first thing that you want to try is, and I'll just say just a couple words. So obviously, automation will help you increase and boost your performance, because you can just automate some of the manual tasks like pausing the ad sets or increasing budgets. It's very important for you to always keep the process of generating the right combination of copies and creatives yourselves. So that's why we think automation is very important, because it can help you focus on those things and just get rid of all the manual hassle. So, and the first thing you want to do when you approach your ad creation and when you start optimizing your ads is obviously the inevitable funnel. So the first thing you want to do is to define your funnel. And depending on what type of business you're in, whether that's a B2C project or that's a B2B product, or you having a mobile app, you would have a specific set of metrics that you want to track that are the most relevant. So as you can see here in the examples, for B2C, you're probably, since the cycles, the sales cycles in B2C are shorter and they're easier to track, you probably want to focus on cost per lead, cost per purchase. And for B2B, it's more of a sorry, I think it's a bit messed up, right? So it should be another way around. So for B2B, it's going to be cost per lead and also custom conversions. So those things are just they switch places with mobile app. So obviously for B2B, you want to track the cost per lead and custom conversion. Custom conversion is the thing that you can set your own event on Facebook. So some of you know that, some not. But so basically, you define what is considered conversion for you, and that's why you can just be more flexible with that. And for mobile apps is obviously all the metrics that refer to mobile app engagement, like cost per install, cost per mobile app purchase. So the first step is just to define the main metrics in your funnel. Then you want to go through that funnel and to set your thresholds, to set your limits for each of the steps of the funnel. So you want to know how much you can spend on each install. What's the maximum amount? Let's say if just going forward, if the customer eventually brings you $50, then it doesn't make sense to spend more than $50 on his acquisition, because you won't even break even. So that's why you just want to know your limits for your cost per lead, for your cost per install, or any other metrics that you use. Okay, so once you've figured out what's the thresholds, what are the limits, you go to the next step. Can you go there? And which is just defining and setting up the first and simple rule. We actually recommend everyone start with this one, as this the most efficient and yet simple. So you create your first pause rule. What you do is, hey, Mike, you want to add something to it?
Yeah. I want to add that this is one of the most important part of defining your automation rules, because you have to know how much money you have to spend before you've got enough data to calculate your cost per conversion, cost per install, cost per any other metric. And of course, you want to use the automation only for purchases or some money-based metrics. But usually it's very hard to get enough data for that metrics, because if you have, for example, 2 or 3 purchases per day, so usually it could be not enough data to get the right statistics for that. So that's why you have to try different steps of your funnel. So for mobile apps, for example, it's mobile app install or maybe even CPC. So that's why it's very important to calculate this spend. So how much money you have to spend before pausing your ad set.
Yep, good point. Thanks, Mike. So yeah, that's why you see in all those cases, you see the spend value, because you, as Michael just mentioned, you have to spend some so that you have enough statistical data. So and here we have the 3 examples of when you can pause your ads, and what and example cases, the rules that you can create. So as you can see, when the first case is when you don't have any conversion at all, but you've spent a decent amount of money. So as Michael mentioned, you know that, let's say in this example, 200 is the amount that gets you valid statistical data. So you spend over $200, but you still have less than 1 purchase. Obviously, you want to pause that ad set. So you just create that, apply it to all the assets in your campaign, and the system is going to be pausing those campaigns who correspond with that condition. So the next case is when you have several conversions, but they're just too expensive to keep going. And well, this is pretty clear as well, I think. So just pausing them. And the third rule and the third case is actually very relevant for e-commerce companies. So let's say if you have an online store and you sell different goods, you sell bike equipment and bikes as well. So you can sell tires for $5, or you can sell bikes for $500. So it's really hard for you to calculate the cost per acquisition for cost per purchase, because the purchase value is going to be different all the time, and so the value is going to be just like a mean value with a big spread. So it won't give you much information. And ROAS, as you can see it here, which means return on ad spend, is basically is a professional marketing version of return on investment, sort of. It's more tweaked. So this gives you an idea of basically what's the return on your ad spend, how well this ad is performing. So that's why you see the example of the rule here is if you pause your ad set, if your return on ad spend is less than 3, that means just the return is not as good as expected, so you just want to pause that ad. Cool. So are we cool here? So yeah, let's go to the next part. Is another great thing that you can do actually with specifically with Reveal, because is to start your ad sets again, to restart them. In using Facebook, you'll have to go to their dashboard and start the campaigns manually again. But here you can set a simple rule that will relaunch your ads. And you're probably wondering, why do you need to relaunch your campaigns if they were paused in the first place? That means they're not efficient. Why do you need to start them again? And here are the examples of that. So let's say the first your ad set was paused in a short term. So you can see the first example is in the same day. Let's say your ad was running, the metrics were not so good, so the pause rule was triggered, and the ad was paused. So, but then in an hour, you just get late conversions. Well, basically late conversions meaning that someone has purchased something from you, so that or just converted or installed an app or did something, basically converted. And so that means that your metrics now, your cost per acquisition, has been adjusted, so it's not that high anymore, and it makes sense to relaunch that ad because it might give you more traction. So that's why you set up the rule, as you can see it here. Pretty straightforward. So you start your ad set if your cost per purchase is less than $50, and at the same time you have to put another mark that is greater than 1. And I'm going to explain it to you, because every time you set the rule saying your cost per acquisition is less than a certain amount, and when your ad is just starting, your cost per acquisition or any metric by default will be 0. So that's why you wanna make sure that you put that second condition, and that your cost per acquisition is greater than 1 or 0, so that it's not 0, it's not started by default. And the second case is was pretty much the same, but so let's say the ad set was not performing well, it was paused, but statistically, if you look at the 7-day period, the past 7-day period, it shows that this ad set is performing well over time, but it just didn't perform well today, so it was paused. And then that just makes sense to restart it again if it was showing good performance in the last 7 days. So hence the second rule that you can see there for the last 7 days. So yeah, you can actually, we're gonna share our cheat sheet with you as well, so that you can take a look at some of the rules later on to and also obviously look at that recording to get inspiration from what we're showing to you right now. All right, so Mike, do you want to add something, or we can move to the next slide?
I think we're good.
Oh, cool. All right. So, and the next thing is about increasing budgets for the best performing ad sets. And so here you can also, again, you can come up with various tasks. You can even create multiple tasks in one rule. So in this example, you see we have a column saying good and the one saying great. So basically, when your the performance of your ad set is good, meaning that your cost per purchase, which is your threshold, is less than $30. Remember that. So every time that it stays below the $30, that means you're doing well. So you want to increase your budget by 20%, and you can decide how often you want to do that. In Reveal, you can do that as often as every 15 minutes. Just be careful, because by the end of the day, you can end up with $1 million budget, even more. So in that case, you see that if my cost per purchase is less than $30, I want to increase my budget by 20%. And at the same time, look at the right, you see the great case. So when the cost per purchase is less than $20, which means that's just amazing. I mean, that's cheap. So I want to obviously buy more of those ads. I want to invest more. And that's why we're increasing our budget by 100% in that case. And obviously the values can differ, the percentage can differ, but you get the idea. So you can be pretty flexible with your budget change, and you don't have to do it manually. It'll be automated. Yeah. So the last thing is you can see here is just showing if you want to go just a bit more advanced, you can use the metric comparison feature that Reveal has. So you can compare the spend from today with your daily budget from yesterday. So let's say if you have already spent half of your
daily for today as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, for today as well. Yeah. So if you're so basically the idea here is you can see, so if your return on ad spend, you remember we just discussed it, if it's greater than 3, meaning that you're getting great return on your ad, then you obviously want to spend more. But at the same time, if you've already spent more than half of your daily budget already, you want to increase it so that you don't hit the limit and stop rolling the ad. But the ad is performing so well, so you obviously want to do that. So this rule will just help you keep your ads rolling. Okay, we have a question. Would you run? So the question from David: would you run both good and great on the same campaign at the same time? Yes, David. That's the thing. So as I mentioned, you can create multiple tasks. You can run 3 or 5 conditions. So like for 20%, for 30%, you can just tweak it as you want. The question from Jeanette, what about if you spend more than $10,000 per monthly ad spend? How do you charge for that? Or is this a limitation for an ad account? Okay, Jeanette, this is more of a technical question, I believe. So are you referring to our pricing, right? Yes. So yeah, well, I'll just say it now. So for those of you who have AppSumo deal and which says $10,000 monthly ad spend limit, so this is the sum of all your spend across all your Facebook ad accounts connected to Reveal. So everything that you spend in a month on your Facebook ads is going to be calculated. So if you stay below that $10,000 a month, you can just keep using that lifetime deal and stay calm. But if you just exceed that limit, the system will ask you to upgrade to a higher plan, and it will automatically upgrade you to a higher plan. So please check out our pricing page. And also for those of you as the Sumo links, you get a special discount. So if you upgrade, you'll get 30% off. Like this is a lifetime discount on any of the plan that you pick. So pretty good deal after a good deal. So feel free to check out pricing. All right. So I think we're clear on that, on increasing budgets. We can move forward, right? Okay. So and now we're gonna share the case of our dear customer who's been with us for a while now. This is a great mobile app for learning languages, specifically English. They started with this one. They have a little card so that you just learn 10 new words every day, hence their name, Easy 10. And it's done with the great simple UX, and it's growing pretty well. And the guys are obviously interested in reaching more people, and Facebook is a great platform for them. Because learning languages is really interesting for all the people who communicate. So this is the tool for them. Okay, so this next slide that you will see next, Mike, if you can just move it. It's basically some of the description of their target audience. So obviously those who are interested in English, and this is an important step as well. And well, most of you know that because you've probably set up your Facebook ads already through Facebook's own interface. Is that when you create ad sets, you have to define your demographics, you have to define your target audience. And so I think any business school also teaches that, like you have to define your target audience. This is very important because you don't want to waste your money on showing your ad to I don't know, to people who don't care about learning English or who are just too young. So you want to make sure that you focus on certain people who speak the same language and who can relate to what you're showing. So once the guys have figured out the main characteristics, they go to the funnel. Remember, that's what we started with in the beginning. So what they do is they break down user's journey into all those steps, and they define the maximum cost per acquisition for each of those steps, so that they know that how much they can spend on the first click or the first, I don't know, the first activation. Like as you can see, like number 3 is the activation action here is a day of training. So also selecting level, so that can differ from app to app, but you can see that you can just break down user journey into steps and estimate each of those steps. Oops, screen is frozen. No, it's probably just a slide. Can you see it? Yeah,
that works.
Yeah, it works. It works for me, I think. Does it work? Guys, it's not frozen. Do you see the percentage values? Okay, working. Yeah. So Nihid, yeah, don't worry. It's just we've been stuck on this slide for a while. All right. So as you can see here, we have the percentages. Now we have the dollar amounts. So these are the approximate values of how much the guys can spend on each of those steps. So once they figured out those, they move to actually calculating those thresholds. So this is just a simple formula. The guys are calculating their acceptable cost per acquisition. So in this case, they've come up with a value of $25. Remember, we went through the cases before.
Actually, yep. This is not CPI. I think this is CPA.
Yes, this should be CPA.
Cost per paying customer acquisition, so cost per purchase.
Yeah, there should be even I'd say this in their case, that should be cost per mobile app checkout. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah.
The cost per install is going to be less than that if you just look at the at the funnel. So yeah, so and here the high level KPIs that the guys now have. So they know their cost per acquisition, and they can now create the rules based on those thresholds, which is easier. So, and there we have it. So let's get to the action. So the first is pausing. So as you can see here, I hope you can see it. Hopefully it's not too small. So yeah, they want to, in that case, they want to pause their camera. Oh, thanks, Mike. So as you can see, they have mobile app installs, cost per mobile app checkouts, and mobile app checkouts here using as the values. So basically what this rule is saying is that if there are some mobile app installs, but at the same time there are no mobile app checkouts, as you can see, the third rule saying mobile app checkouts less than 1. So it means no one is buying anything yet, and the cost for per mobile app checkout is greater than $30 already. Just as we've covered that previously, it just doesn't make sense. So the guys are pausing this campaign. The next step, what they do is the next one is increasing budget, right? Okay. I was like, oh, okay, starting is later. It's coming later. But in this, Mike, I have to ask you to zoom in because the guys have pretty monstrous rule here. So they actually this is actually a great example of using nested rules. Another has, which many of other platforms don't, especially Facebook. And just so you know, like Facebook's own rules are pretty good on a smaller scale. So just to do simple stuff, but you won't be able to do any of those on Facebook. So this is just this is great for beginners. And so as you can see here, they have a pretty sophisticated task. So they're increasing their budget by 100% when they're sure that the things are going well. What that means. So they have basically, you see that the two big conditions. So the first one is they want to make sure that they have more than 2 mobile app checkouts. And another condition, which has 2 conditions within it, is is the condition of, first, it's either gonna have a daily a cost per mobile app install less than $15, which is cost per mobile app checkout is less than $15, which is super great for them. But at the same time, their daily budget is less than 100. Or, as you can see, those 2 conditions are connected with or clause. And another one is when their cost per mobile app install is less than $10, and the daily budget is greater than 100. So the system will work if one of these conditions work with the one on top. Hope that's not too confusing. So yeah, and this basically again means that they can be as flexible as they need, not focus only on one set of metrics, but combine them and create different relations with those conditions, like using and or functions. All right. So system. Okay. So let's get to the question then. Farbot asks, how does this system knows if our app has more than a specific amount of checkouts? I assume we have to integrate something in our app to pass the checkout numbers, etc., to here. So
yeah, so we're collecting that data directly from the Facebook Ads API, Facebook Marketing API. So you have to send that data to the Facebook Ads to calculate. So, and of course, if you have a web app, you have to use Facebook Pixel. So, and also you have to use Facebook Ads for mobile apps events. So That's it.
Yeah. So Farbod, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Facebook Pixel, but it just takes some time to integrate, but we strongly recommend to do that. It's just like gives you a more in-depth view into your Facebook campaigns. You'll be able to use a lot more metrics, a lot more relevant metrics. So definitely check out Facebook Pixel. Oh, I see. Yeah. So that's why I definitely recommend you to read that. Cool. Edward, hi, late dude. Don't worry, we'll have the recording of the webinar, so you'll be able to see it. Cool. All right, Alexa. I think there's a question about pricing again. Yeah, Alexa, let me reach out to you later on, and we'll discuss the best price for you. That sounds cool. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll reach out later on. Okay, so let's get to one of the last points. So basically starting campaigns, how that thing works for our customer EZ10, which is a mobile app for learning English. So what they do is, again, remember we discussed those late conversions, and that was the first case. So in their example, they're starting their ad set if their cost per mobile app checkout is still less than $25. So that obviously if it was paused before that, it just got over that limit, but someone's converted, so they have changed the cost per mobile app checkout value, and now it's lower than that. So the guys definitely want to restart that ad set again. And another one is just make sure that you have checkouts, just to make sure you have some relevant data. All right. And okay, so the question about automation. Automation works at bid level. Yes, we're not showing, actually, well, good question, Nidhi. We do have bid, and some of our customers who are actually professional, who are agencies and are really high-class professionals, they do use a lot of aggressive bid strategy, and you can do that with Reveal. You can manually increase, decrease bids, but usually for users who are just starting, we don't recommend to mess with bids, and there are two reasons. The first is that Facebook's own bid optimization tool is working pretty well, so there's no need to just focus on that at the beginning. And the second is that if you're not careful with it, it can cause some under delivery. So in terms of like your ad delivery, so we just don't recommend if you're not that experienced, if you haven't tried it that much. But yeah, you can do that with Reveal, definitely. If you go to automation, create new rules, you'll see increase, decrease, and set bid among actions in automation interface. Okay, so could share some ideas. Oh, cool, Nidhi. Definitely, let's keep in touch. I mean, after this webinar, we'll be glad to hear your case. Maybe that actually can be interesting for one of our webinars when we get to, like, say, more advanced tactics, or maybe some specific guide on aggressive bid strategy. If that works for you, that'll be cool. And also we have Mojmir asking, hey guys, are there any rule triggers based on certain text string contained in ad set name? No, not yet, but that's actually, we have that asked before, and we definitely looking at integrating that one. So
yeah, we're planning to add that as soon as possible. Lots of our current customers asked for that feature, so I think we'll do it very soon. Yeah, so please stay tuned, Mojmir. I'll definitely send out a message when we're gonna deliver that. Cool. All right, thanks.
So yeah, here's, just take a look at the slide here. So this is another great thing that we have in Reveal. This is the tool that will help you to actually optimize your campaigns even more. They're called logs. So each of the rules that you create can have its own log. So basically, that's the place where you see all the everything that's changed, how the system tracked all of your ad sets, whether the rule was triggered or not, what were the reasons, what were the metrics at the time, so that you can see what happened and why that happened. As you can see here in an example, you see the rule. We have a start rule here on top, and you see each of the rule checking items here. And the green one means that the rule has been triggered, so that asset has been started. And if you hover over that line, you'll see the metrics. You see they're all green. That means that all of those conditions matched and the rule was triggered. So now you see, like, the last rightmost column says the new status is active. So the campaign has been started. And when you have different rules, when you have increased budget rules, you can go and check out the logs for each of them, and maybe you get some insights whether you can actually lower some of your thresholds and spend even less but get the same results. Yep, that's it for the logs. And what we have next, these are just the handy things that we actually really recommend you to set up. One of the advantages is that you can get alerts about the most important changes in your campaigns. When some of the rules are triggered, you can have a Slack notification if you guys are using Slack, or you can have a notification to your email, so that the most relevant person will be able to see when the budget is increased, or when the rule where the ad set is paused, so that you can then go to logs, let's say, and see what has happened to your ad. And the next thing is just to remind you that apart from automation, there's another sort of a sidekick, which is the report feature, so that you can those automation notifications are great, that they give you the alert at the right moment when something has happened, but you can also line up and schedule like I say, custom reports across all your platforms. If you guys remember, when you just signed up for Reveal, you ended up on the integrations page where you had those little blocks where you connected different platforms. So you can connect all of them, and you can have them all in one big report, or you can actually make just one Facebook report, that doesn't matter, and send it to, let's say, your marketing channel on Slack, or send to your email, so that every day when you go to your office, you make yourself a cup of coffee, you'll get that report at, let's say, 9 a.m., and you'll be able to see what happened with your campaign yesterday or last week. That depends on how you set it. It's pretty flexible. Yep. So what we have next? Oh, this is just the graph that we had and that we were showing. This is the study that our marketing and growth professional at Reveal has done. So he was just comparing and he actually came up with a sort of his own metric called revenue per marketing team member. And here we just compare, you see the blue graph is the efficiency of your team member without Reveal, and the red one is the efficiency of each team member with Reveal. I'm going to explain you why that happens, why Reveal is so much better. It's just simply because you don't need add additional team members to a team to manage those ads. And we had those cases before. when people, especially the agencies who run lots of different ad accounts, they cannot just each of the ad account managers, they have to track at least 5 ad accounts. But if they grow, if the agency expands, they have to add more people so that each of them keeps manually doing his work. And with Reveal, when you can just automate those processes, you don't need to increase the team. You just need to have more tasks, more automation or automated rules, and you can easily apply that to new campaigns, so you don't have to increase your team. So that was the main idea. Okay, so I think that's clear on that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the basics. Again, guys, as we mentioned, we're always happy to hear your feedback and to hear your questions. If you have some hardcore cases, or you just started creating a rule but you realize that something's missing, or just don't know what's next, don't worry, just hit us up, hit that intercom bubble, shoot us a message, and we'll try to respond as soon as possible. Cool. So Mike, do you want to add something, or we'll get straight to questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for your feedback during that AppSumo campaign.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, because we've got lots of great and very valuable for us feature requests, feedback, and everything. So keep going, guys. And right now we're working on. So we're figuring out what to do next and what the most important features for you. So maybe we'll do some kind of community and voting, because it's very important to us to understand what the main thing you want to have in Reveal. So feel free to share your feedback again.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Mike. And hey guys, now I've just noticed that we have 6 questions in that ask a question category. So let me just get to them. As I mentioned, once I click start answering, it will put a timestamp on that question, so you'll always be able to rewind to that specific question when you watch the video. So let me get quickly through it. So for the first question from Alexa, can you add the option to duplicate a winning ad set? Yes, we've already replied that. It is in our backlog. We don't have it yet, but it's definitely coming up as soon as possible. That's one of the most important feature requests that we've had so far. Okay, done. So let's get to the next one. Next question is, I have seen that when ad set is expensive, there is always one set of age group is cheaper than others. Can we set the rule at age group level? I think I have to ask Mike to help me on that. But well, basically, if I'm correct, you just create different ad sets and create different rules for different ad sets, right? Because probably your ad set each of your ad set will target different age groups. So Nidhi, that was your question. Please let me know if I'm getting it right. So basically, when you create...
Sorry guys, I missed the question. Can you...
yeah, it's the second question. So can we set the rule at the age group level? And what I'm trying to see here is, Nidhi, when you create your ad sets, you define the demographics, you define the age group.
Yeah,
so,
that's correct. So
yeah, so basically, when you apply this on an ad set level, just meaning you'll just apply the rule to specific ad. You can, with the Reveal, you can select a specific ad set. You don't select all of your ad set and campaigns. It's, again, pretty flexible. Just pick those that are, let's say, age 18 to 25. Then you create another rule for those ad sets which are like 30 to 45. So
yeah, you can apply the rule to the campaign, ad set, or ad level, and for each ad set you can choose different targeting, different age group, and everything.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I see the follow-up question, not the follow-up comment from Nihi. She's saying, say if I'm targeting 25 to 60, there's one age group within that that will be less expensive. Yes, so in this case, we'll just recommend to break it down into separate ad sets, and then just apply the rules to different ad sets. So, answering your question, yes, we can set the rule at the age group level. Hope that helps. All right, so click done answering. Okay, so the next question is, can we set rules to pause campaigns based on cost per click? Sure, Tina, you can use any metric for that: cost per click, cost per install, cost per mobile app purchased, your Facebook pixel values, or your custom conversions, just any metric. Okay, the next one is, and guys, I'll just skip the questions about the pricing so far. I'll get to them later on. It's more about the automation right now. So do you set, okay, sorry, I'll have to click. Do you set up the rules after launching the campaign or after getting data in around 3-4 days? Okay, the question from Milizar.
Usually you know your numbers already, so you know your maximum cost per acquisition anyway. And of course you have to stop your rules when you're launching the campaign. And your rules can continuously pause and start your ad sets inside that campaign, and it doesn't matter when you launch that.
Cool. Thanks. So the next one is, okay, starting. How's this different than using the campaign automation rules in Facebook? What's the advantage of using Reveal? So I've briefly touched that during the webinar, showing some of the things that Facebook just cannot do. In general, Facebook's own automated rules are good if you're just starting. On a smaller scale, this is a great tool, and we actually recommend, if you're just starting with Facebook ads, we would definitely recommend you to use Facebook's own tools to just learn, to see how it all works. And when you're ready to scale up, when you run at least, well, $1,000, $3,000 of monthly ad spend, when you have created lots of ad sets, lots of campaigns, then you'll feel that need yourself to use a more automated, advanced system. And some of the cases that we've shown, please just rewind to our Easy 10s cases, is when you can use nested rules, when you can use return on ad spend as a metric. Facebook just doesn't have it. Facebook cannot relaunch campaigns automatically, but you can do that in Reveal. It doesn't have nested rules. It doesn't have and or conditions. You cannot choose between and or conditions. And yes, Mike just sends you the follow-up information about all the key changes, but there are lots of other nuances. So again, once you scale up, you'll be able to see this, the advantages of this higher flexibility in terms of rule creation. Hope that helps. Okay, thanks. And the last question, which is about the AppSumo deal, so I'll answer it here. With the AppSumo deal, I will probably go past the 10K a month limit quickly. You stated that when I need to upgrade to a bigger plan, it would be at a 40% discount. Is that discount permanent? No, here's the thing. So for all the Sumo links, we have the 40% discount for the first year. So this is not a permanent discount. or if you sign up, if you upgrade within 2 weeks and pick any of the plans that you have, you'll get a 30% discount for a lifetime. So the lifetime deal, again, that we're granting right now is the 30% discount on any of the plans that you pick lifetime. You just have to upgrade within 2 weeks. So you have plenty of time to play, to try. If you know that you go above that threshold, so feel free to reach us out, and we'll definitely figure out the discount. All right. So thanks. I guess so. That's it for the questions. We'll close that tab. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all the questions. As Mike mentioned, thanks for the great and valuable feedback in the past 2 weeks. Now our backlog has grown real big. So thank you for full
features,
for all the features, for having us, for getting us a lot of work. So we really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you next time on one of our webinars. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.